There comes a time when life stops shouting. It does not arrive with fireworks. It does not knock loudly. It does not demand your attention the way it once did. It shows up quietly. For many people, this moment comes after 60. And at first, it can feel confusing. You may think something is missing, the urgency, the pressure, the constant pull to be somewhere else. For years, life spoke in deadlines and responsibilities. It spoke through alarm clocks, schedules, expectations, and obligations. It spoke through people needing answers, solutions, and strength from you. And you listened. You showed up. You carried what needed to be carried. But now life is doing something different. After 60, many people think life is closing doors. They notice fewer demands, fewer people calling, fewer roles to play. And the mind can whisper, is this it? Am I being left behind? Do I still matter the way I used to? But something else is happening. Life is lowering its voice so you can finally hear what matters. This is not loss. This is transition. Life is no longer shouting because it no longer needs to. You have already learned the loud lessons. Now, the lessons are gentle. You may notice them in small moments. Moments you once rushed past without seeing. Standing by a window in the early morning before the world wakes up. The air feels still, time feels wide, watching sunlight rest on the floor, not moving fast, just being there. Hearing the house breathe, the quiet hum of familiarity, the sound of your own presence in a space you know well. These moments were always there, but you were too busy surviving to notice them. At this age, you have already survived storms, storms of responsibility, storms of uncertainty, storms where you had to be strong even when you were tired. You have carried responsibility for family, for work, for decisions that affected more than just you. You have done what was required. You showed up even when you didn't feel ready. You kept going even when no one saw how hard it was. You learned to put your needs second because someone else depended on you. That chapter demanded endurance. This chapter invites awareness. Now, life is no longer testing your strength. It is inviting your presence. There is a difference. Strength is about holding on. Presence is about settling in. Life is not asking you to push forward anymore. It is asking you to arrive where you already are. Not asking you to run, not asking you to prove, just asking you to notice. Notice how your breath slows when you stop rushing. Notice how your thoughts soften when there is no deadline attached to them. Notice how your body relaxes when it realizes it is safe to rest. This quiet invitation can feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable at first. When life goes quiet, the mind sometimes gets louder. Old memories surface, questions appear, regrets knock gently at the door. But this too is part of the lesson. Life is not trying to overwhelm you. It is giving you space to process what you never had time to feel. The quiet is not empty. It is full of understanding, waiting to be acknowledged. Most people miss this moment because they are still listening for noise. They are waiting for life to speak the old language of urgency. They mistake calm for boredom, stillness for stagnation. So they distract themselves. They fill every silence. They keep searching for something to chase, but the truth arrives softly. It does not demand attention. It waits patiently. It says, you don't need to be busy to be valuable. You don't need to be needed to be worthy. You don't need to rush to be alive. And when you catch it, when you finally hear it, you feel a calm you have not felt in years. Not excitement, not adrenaline, something deeper. A calm that settles in your chest. A calm that does not ask for approval. A calm that feels steady, not fragile. You begin to realize that this stage of life is not about shrinking. It is about simplifying. Life is gently removing the unnecessary noise so the essential can remain. Your awareness sharpens, your patience grows, your reactions soften. You start choosing what deserves your energy, and more importantly, what does not. This is the moment life softens its voice, not because it has less to say, but because you are finally ready to listen. And if you allow yourself to stay here, to not rush past this quiet chapter, to trust that nothing is wrong, you discover something powerful. Peace was not something you had to earn later. It was something waiting for you the moment you stopped running. This is not the end of your story. This is the moment the story becomes clear. Life is no longer shouting, and that is not a loss, that is a gift. There is a memory many people share. Waking up early before the sun, moving fast without asking why, checking clocks as if time itself were watching you, planning the next thing before finishing the first. For decades, this rhythm felt normal, necessary, even responsible. Rushing became a language you learned early, a way to survive, a way to provide, a way to prove you were doing enough. Life rewarded speed for a long time. The faster you moved, the more capable you seemed. The more you handled, the more valuable you felt. So you learned to hurry without noticing the cost, but after 60, something changes. Rushing stops feeling useful. It starts feeling heavy. Your body speaks more honestly. Your mind resists being pushed. Your heart quietly asks for a different pace. Life is trying to teach you that your worth was never measured by speed. Speed was just a season, a tool, not a definition. You may notice this shift in small, surprising ways. Walking slower feels right. Not weak, not careless, just right. You notice details you once missed, the sound of your footsteps, the way the air feels on your skin, the rhythm of your own breathing. Silence no longer feels empty. It feels spacious, comforting. A quiet afternoon, once feared as wasted time, now feels full of ease, full of balance, full of you. This is not laziness, this is wisdom arriving on time. Wisdom does not rush. It understands that rushing blurs meaning. You are learning something that took a lifetime to understand. Being present creates more peace than being productive ever did. Productivity kept you moving. Presence lets you arrive. You begin to see how much of life was lived on autopilot. Meals eaten quickly, conversations half listened to, moments passed through without being felt. Now you are given a different invitation. To sit longer, to listen fully, to let moments finish before moving on. You do not need to fill every hour anymore. Empty space is no longer something to fear. It becomes room to breathe, room to reflect, room to feel grounded. You do not need to explain your pace. You have nothing left to prove, no race left to win. The truth is gentle. You are allowed to arrive slowly, not behind, not late, exactly on time for this chapter of your life. You are allowed to rest without guilt. Rest is not quitting. Rest is integrating everything you have already lived. When you slow down, something remarkable happens. Your mind becomes clearer. Thoughts line up instead of colliding. Worries lose their urgency. Decisions feel simpler. Your heart becomes lighter. You stop carrying pressure that was never meant to be permanent. You release expectations that no longer belong to you. You begin to trust your own rhythm. And in that trust, peace grows naturally. Life smiles when you stop running, not because you gave up, but because you finally understood. You were never meant to spend your entire life rushing forward. You were meant to live it. Now is the time to move gently, to choose calm, to let each moment be enough. And in that slower pace, you discover a strength that does not push, does not rush, and does not fade. A quiet strength that stays with you. For years, wealth was defined by numbers, income, savings, possessions, numbers that could be counted, compared, and displayed, numbers that told the world you were doing well, numbers that made effort look successful. For a long time, those numbers mattered. They helped you build a life. They provided security. They measured progress in a world that values proof. But after 60, a different kind of wealth reveals itself, not suddenly, not dramatically, quietly. You begin to notice the value of moments, a phone call that feels warm, not rushed, a voice on the other end that truly listens, a shared laugh that stays with you long after it ends. Not loud laughter, the kind that settles into memory and brings a soft smile later. A peaceful evening with no agenda, no pressure to be anywhere else, no feeling of being behind, just time, experienced fully. This kind of wealth cannot be measured, it can only be felt. And the surprising truth is this wealth was building quietly all along. While you were working, providing, and surviving, life was also teaching you. Every lesson you learned the hard way, every disappointment that forced you to grow, every mistake that showed you what truly matters, every boundary you finally set after years of giving too much, after realizing that your energy was precious. Every time you chose peace over approval, even when it felt uncomfortable, even when it meant being misunderstood. These were deposits, not into a bank, but into your inner life. At first, you may not have noticed. You were busy counting the wrong things. But now, when life slows down, you begin to see what you have accumulated. Patience, perspective, emotional strength. You may look back and realize something surprising. You did not lose time. Those years were not wasted. They were shaping you. You gained understanding. You learned what does not last. You learned what cannot be forced. You learned who you are when no one is watching. You did not fall behind. You arrived exactly where you needed to be. Life does not move in straight lines, it moves in seasons. And this season is not about accumulation, it is about appreciation. You begin to value what once seemed ordinary, a quiet morning, a familiar routine, a sense of enough. You notice how little you actually need to feel content. Life is teaching you that the richest life is not loud, it does not seek attention, it does not announce itself, it is steady. It does not rise and fall with circumstances, it remains grounded. It is calm, not because everything is perfect, but because you no longer need everything to be. This kind of wealth does not create stress. It dissolves it. It does not demand maintenance. It grows through gratitude. And the most beautiful part is this. It fits comfortably inside you. It cannot be taken away. It does not depend on outside approval. It does not fade with time. It lives in your awareness, in your ability to appreciate what is here now. You begin to understand that success was never just about building a life. It was about learning how to live inside it. And now, with fewer distractions, you finally get to enjoy what you have built within. This is the wealth that lasts, not flashy, not noisy, but deep, stable, and truly yours. Here is the quiet truth life is teaching after 60. You are already enough, not almost enough, not enough if you change, enough as you are right now. For much of life, you were taught the opposite, that value had to be earned, that rest had to be justified, that slowing down meant falling behind. But those lessons belong to an earlier chapter. Now, life offers something gentler. You do not need to fix yourself. There is nothing broken in you that time failed to repair. Your experiences shaped you, not damaged you. Your mistakes taught you, not defined you. You do not need to chase relevance. You are not here to compete with the new or the loud. Your relevance lives in your presence, your steadiness, your understanding. It lives in how you listen, how you respond, how you carry yourself. You do not need permission to enjoy today. Joy does not require approval. Peace does not need an explanation. Your value does not expire. It is not tied to productivity. It is not measured by output. It does not fade because the pace has changed. Your presence still matters. It matters in conversations that feel safe. It matters in rooms that become calmer when you enter. It matters in ways that do not need recognition. Life is not asking you to become someone new. It is inviting you to finally be yourself, fully, without comparison, without the need to impress, gently, with patience for your own rhythm, with kindness toward your own story, without apology, for resting, for choosing peace, for saying no when something no longer fits. When you accept this, something shifts. A deep calm settles in, not the calm of giving up, but the calm of understanding. You begin to trust your own rhythm. You stop measuring your days by what you accomplished and start noticing how they feel. You choose peace more easily. Not because life is perfect, but because you are no longer fighting it. You feel strong without being tense. Strength no longer comes from pushing. It comes from balance. This is not the end of the story. This is the chapter where clarity replaces pressure, where urgency fades and meaning remains, where you stop asking who you should be and start honoring who you are. Walk forward calmly. There is no need to rush this part. It was never meant to be hurried. Carry your wisdom lightly. You do not have to carry the past as weight. You can carry it as understanding. Let life meet you at your pace. Life is no longer chasing you. It is walking beside you. You have earned this quiet strength through years of effort, through lessons learned the hard way, through choosing to keep going. And this strength, calm, steady, and deeply rooted, is more powerful than you think. It does not demand attention. It does not fade with time. It simply is, and so are you.